And how are ye? How are ye all? I was going to do a driving video yesterday, but I was so drained well, I think my allergies were kicking in, but also just the show and all that on Sunday that I just didn't have the energy to talk. So I didn't do it. But I'm a little more rested. I wouldn't say well rested, but more rested. And, excuse me. And heading in today. It's a beautiful morning. 74 degrees already at 9:07. And we are heading into work today. And I said, let me do a drive. I started a little late because I was listening to an interview that Kevin Costner did on Howard Stern. And even though Howard is boring now, I do like his celebrity interviews when he has real celebrities. Not Billie Eilish, but real people with a decades-long body of work to look at and who have really done good stuff. So Kevin Costner was on there talking about Horizon, which, hold on, let me adjust this here for a second. Hold on. I've seen Horizon. Me and Colby went and saw it when it came out. We were very excited to see it. And while I was kind of like, when we left, actually, I think we looked at each other and we said, what the hell was that? But I was like, well, let's see about part two. Maybe this is just setting everything up. But unfortunately, it doesn't look like part two is going to be coming out. Thank you, Phil, for the super chat there. I will grab a coffee on you. Thank you very much. But anyway, I do. There's something about it I like. It's got good moments. I do like Kevin Costner Westerns. I think he does a good job with them. He has an affinity for not only the genre, but also for the history of the West. And I think he treats the American and Native American stories fairly. There's really no good guy. There's really no bad guy. Everybody's miserable. Everybody's brutal to each other. And that's what I like about Kevin Costner Westerns. They're not flag waving, and they're not making the natives look like they were all singing Kumbaya and having orgies before we got here. And so I think that's pretty fair. Anyway, let's see who's in here with us today. There's Mike B, 1863. I think, is that Mikey? Is that the Mikey B? I forget what your name is here. Babber, how are you? Stanley, hello. Dustin, good morning. Barbara says, I did not like Horizon at all. Gee, oh my God. What? Barbara didn't like something? You are kidding me. Bill, good morning. Garrick says, good morning, everyone, on this beautiful Tuesday morning on my last day of this job and ready to start my new career tomorrow morning. What's your new career, Garrick? I mean, this is Harry, I'm sure. What's your new career? Fraser, good morning. David, hello. Paul, good morning. Valerie, morning. Southern Girl, good morning to you. Barbara says, I knew that would surprise you. Yeah. Yes, it is Mikey B. How are you feeling, Mikey? Well, Mike B is not your name. Your name is Mikey B. So that's why it threw me off. I thought it could have been another Michael B, like Mike Borenstein, for example, someone I've never heard of. But, so Mikey B would have tipped me off. 60-second, good morning to you. So we had a great show yesterday. No thanks to Mikey B, who played hooky. No, he's been deathly ill from some third world disease that he caught while over in England, and it's a nail biter here. We're worried about him, and we're hoping that he's on the mend. But it is touch and go every day with Mikey B. So thoughts and prayers and flowers. But anyway, we had a good show on Sunday. It was a lot of fun. I was very nervous about it. Really had me in knots for like weeks because we really weren't prepared. There was no rehearsal to speak of. We got together Thursday, and that's when we planned the show, Thursday. Luckily, our guests, Cody Aish, Britt Eisenberg, Kevin Bryant, and Louis Trott, are consummate professionals. And so we didn't really need much planning. Um, and it was like, okay, so we'll do this, we'll do that, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, okay, great. And did I just lose you? I just saw the screen flash. Let me know if I lost you or not. Still here. Okay, good. So it was fun. Billy Webster came out and played a few songs from his album, Matching Through Jaja. And he brought his sons out with him. His oldest son, Declan, is a very good guitarist himself, so he played along with him. And his youngest son, Rowan, is a percussionist, and he had eggs or an egg that you shake, and he came out and played that. It was cute. It was nice to see. It's nice to see a good father. It is nice to see a good father. You know, you don't see it as much anymore these days, but it is very nice to see. And so he came out with the kids. They did a few songs. Then we came out, and I, you know, I got to get more used to being in front of crowds because it's not something I'm comfortable with per se. I don't feel at home on a stage. I feel at home in a studio. I have control in the studio. I don't have control. Even if I'm a guest, I feel like I'm in control. I know how to wrest control from the host. Remember when like Charles Grodin? I'm not even dating myself because I was a kid, but I watch old stuff. Remember when Charles Grodin would go on Carson? What a great guest he was. You know, there were certain guests that were just really good, and they would take over the show. Even Howard Stern would do this. He'd go on Letterman or Leno or any show he would go on, and he would take over. And the interviewer, the host, really had very little say or control. I think the most control they had was to say, "Oh, we'll be right back after these words." That was it. And so those are the guys that entertained me the most when I would see them. And so I kind of absorbed that. But anyway, on a stage, not very comfortable. Also, when you have somebody holding their wrist up and tapping on their watch, also not comfortable, throws me off, and it doesn't let things breathe for me. You gotta find your stride. You gotta let things breathe, and breathe. I'm not a I'm not a professional, right? I'm not a trained. I play by ear. If you have to make an analogy to a musician, I'm a jazz musician or a blues musician as opposed to a classical musician. And so I can't do what's on the page. I have to do what I feel in my soul. And so that's how I like to do the show. So I was luckily, because we were pressed for time, that meant I couldn't really drag us into a discussion. And so we had to go through, again, this was a show with a couple of purposes. One, to introduce the theater crowd to the history and get them interested. So you got to do the 30,000 foot view. Two, it's our anniversary shows. And the anniversary shows, because, you know, the thought behind it is, when are people searching for Gettysburg the most? It's going to be during the anniversary. So the anniversary shows, you don't want to get in the weeds because this is your opportunity during the year to attract, to be found by, and then lure in newbies to the subject. So you do the 30,000 foot overview, and that's why we do them like that every year. Um, so it's got to serve that purpose too. But the other purpose is the theater crowd skews older, even older than our crowd, which skews older. And so you got to let them pee. That was the big thing. We have to let them pee at an hour. So I hear that as an hour of showtime, but they meant an hour after starting. and we started at 2:06 or something like that. So, well, we started at 2:06 with an introduction from Ryan. Little, housekeeping, welcome, all that stuff, and here's what we have coming up this season at the totem pole, blah 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 blah. And now here's Billy Webster. Billy comes out, he does his songs for 15 minutes, and then he introduces us. So we don't even get to the show for maybe 20-25 minutes after 2. But they wanted it to end at 3:15. We had to go for our break. And so Debbie was kind of my liaison between the theater people and me, because I'm illiterate when it comes to theater stuff, and Debbie went to school for that. And so so she's off in the wings in my eye line, and she's giving me a signal every time we hit 20 minutes, because that's when we need to wrap up and move on to the next day. And then by the end of the hour, she's like slicing her fingers across her throat, like cut it, cut it, cut it. And we're in the middle of telling the third day. And Kevin Bryant took the third day, and he was doing a fantastic job. You could tell he had a third day routine, but he was really good. And he had the audience. He was making analogies to Star Wars. He was cracking jokes, and he had them. The last thing you do as the host is say, Kevin, you're doing great, but hold on, we got to take a break so people can urinate. It's going to kill it for the viewer on YouTube. It's going to kill it for the people who were enraptured in the audience. And so you let it go. So Debbie's over there doing jumping jacks. She's like slicing her throat and all this. And I'm like, I'm not stopping him. I'm not doing it. Sorry. And so then we finished. So we went over. They wanted it to be like 3:15. I think it was like 3:30 when we stopped for intermission or something like that. And then we resumed, came back. We did. I don't know. We didn't really. None of us could come up with a good name for what this is called. I call it a casualty exercise. But we made the audience stand up. We based it on percentages as opposed to numbers. And the regiment we did was 1st Minnesota, made the audience stand, and Cody Aish took this part and made everybody sit according to wounded, killed, or captured. And supposedly, I wasn't there. I was walking around the building to come in the back entrance when it was time to do questions from the audience. And instead of staying up on the stage with the guys, I did it from the audience, like Phil Donahue style, daytime talk show style, where you walk around and you hand the mic to people, or you just walk over to them and they ask their questions. And it was fun. I did enjoy it. It's like I said, it's not my wheelhouse, but I do. There is a thrill. There is a thrill. The roar of the grease paint, the smell of the crowd. You know what I'm saying? And so it was fun. We're going to do some more things, I hope, there. They seem to be pleased with it. I was pleased with it. And, for what it was, for the amount of time we had to prepare, I was very pleased with it. I thought it was good. So we'll see. We'll see. I hope you guys like it when it comes out. The video, we looked at it yesterday, and it came out really nice. Mark over at Community Media did a great job with that. And, we'll see what you guys think when it comes out. Bill says, let's hear a 30-second tour in your radio voice. Okay. We're on East Confederate Avenue right now, ladies and gentlemen. And over on our right, in the distance, you'll be able to see East Cemetery Hill, held by the Union Army. And right in front of us, and you can kind of see it poking over the tree line, perhaps, is the observation tower on top of Culp's Hill. So that's Culp's Hill right over there. To our left is the Culp Farm, and a little bit in the distance is Benner's Hill. Benner's Hill is where Latimer's battalion was. Okay, was that 30 seconds? Sorry, I still have my morning voice. You still think Goodfellas should have won Best Picture over Dances with Wolves? Totally agree with you, and I love Dances with Wolves, but I'll tell you why I agree and why I think Dances won. Dances tapped into the wokeness of the day, the political correctness of the day. Okay, so it had to win. Beautiful movie. I love it, but it satisfied the political urges of 1989 Hollywood or whatever year that was. Goodfellas, I do think though, is a far better movie. Yes, so I agree with you. I'll put it like this: I've seen Goodfellas more times since it came out than I've seen Dances with Wolves, and I love Dances with Wolves. I guess I just have some problems with like the Civil War part. Yeah, and so yeah, but also the part out west is just beautiful. He does shoot the west very very nicely. Let's see, Matt, are you going to watch Dobbin House move the Lincoln House back to the? What is that? When is that happening? I'd love to watch that. Yeah, I'll go do that. Let me know when that's happening, and I'll make sure to do it. Hey, folks, happy birthday, Matt's mom. Thank you, Tim. Can't stick around because I've got to go to the bank. Enjoy the tour. Yes, get to the bank. Frazier says happy birthday, Matt's mom, as well. Gino says the South shall rise again. Good luck with that. Good luck with that. Ms. Lisi says finally caught a live. Thank you very much for the. I've already written you a letter, but thank you very much for the hat. It's a very, where did you find that hat? Because obviously I can't wear a groundhog hat in public, right? And I like it in the studio in the background behind me, but it is the softest, warmest hat ever. So where can I find that? And I just had a call come in. Okay, just want to make sure you can still hear me there. Very important that you hear everything, every word. The law says, I'm going to Gettysburg Thursday. Can't wait. Is this your first time coming here? Or have you been here before? Morning, BKW. Whoops. The law says it is my third time, but kids' first time, so I will drive them around the first day, get some pizza at the upper crust. We're doing a ghost tour at the birthplace of Jenny Wade. Very nice. You need more puke in your voice. Hey, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Red Cup here. What a tour voice. You're hired. Speaking of tour voices, and he's been on the show. This is his 7th time on the show. So I'm sure many of you have heard him before, but wait until you hear Kevin tell the story of day 3 on the anniversary show. Patrons, you're going to get it early, like I did with the Tavern Talks. You'll just get it raw, cut, no editing or anything like that. But actually, and I think they recorded some like rehearsal stuff. So maybe I haven't looked at that, so it might not be any good, but maybe we'll put that up as well. But anyway, yeah, Kevin's got a great voice. Great voice. Very jealous of Kevin's voice. I've Court's got a great voice. Kevin's got a great voice. Again, I'm glad this isn't happening to me when I'm 25, because if I were 25, my insecure little self would have said, no, they're never coming on a microphone on my show. And then what would have happened was I would have been missing some great material because they have better voices than I do. Like I have to work at mine. Great voices because God decided to smile upon them. God laughed when he made me. He said, this will be funny. He's like, all right, let's see. Calorie, Joseph, Matthew, or Matthew, Joseph. Uh, hmm. You know what? I'm going to need some laughter during his lifetime because it's going to get stupid. So let's make him bald, hairy where he doesn't want to be, bald where he wants hair, not with the best of genes for staying in shape without a lot of work, and a voracious appetite for food that tastes good, and a desire to communicate with the masses, but let's make him work at a voice instead of give him one that's naturally sultry. All right, here we go. Just add water and we'll pop him in this lady. And here we go. And now I just need to sit back and laugh. Wundermoke says, oh, nice to have a great time. Don't tell Matt you're going ghost hunting. Yeah, don't tell me that. Rob Rabe says, of course, Jersey guy is going to like Goodfellas. Yeah, right? Well, even though that's all New York guys, they buried all the bodies in Jersey and upstate New York. So, I feel like it's kind of our story too. Sopranos, now that's our story. When Jackie Jr. gets whacked in Boonton, that's the next town over from where I grew up. It's spelled Boonton, but we pronounce it Boonton because that's what we do. They're setting beams today. Hope to lift later today. Okay, good. I will check in on that. You got it at a souvenir store in Punxsutawney. Okay. Maybe I'll look and see it on the tag and see what the brand is, because maybe there's unadorned hats that I could get. Ms. Lisi from Punxsutawney. Okay, they're talking privately there. I will be working at Chambersburg Hospital in Wound Care Center, operating the hyperbaric chamber. Wow, that's awesome. Good for you. Can you go by the copse of trees today? I'd like to see it in spring. Sure. You know what, Barbara? Yes, I'll do that for you. I'm not going to go all the way down and up. I'll go down to the Pennsylvania Monument and do it. But let's do it for Barbara, ladies and gentlemen. And then I have to go because what time is it? 9:30. And Derek has called. I'm sorry. Stephen Taft has called me twice, and I've had to ignore his call, which I genuinely and generally don't like to do. But sometimes, you got to do it. Framer Mike says, come on Thursday, 3 days in Gettysburg. Very nice, very nice, very nice. So here I'll give you a little preview of what who was asking about that. Sorry, whoever was asking about the house here at the Dobbin. As you can see right across the street here, this house is going to be moved. And it's going to be quite a feat. They've been working on it for quite a while, but we're gonna. I'll come down. I'll keep my spies in this area alerted to alert me when they start trying to move it, and we'll see what we can do. Of course, the Dobbin house, I'm sure, is going to be uh, live streaming that or have video of it, but we'll do it as well. They have a much more successful. Jackie White is like a powerhouse. She does her own social media. She has so much energy. I envy it. I wish I had that energy. I don't have it, and that focus and everything. She also has a huge staff that does all the menial work, not menial, but all the other work for her that a business owner really can't or shouldn't be bothered with. But I don't have that luxury yet. So I've said, well, what has to fall by the wayside? Unfortunately, social media is what fell by the wayside for me because I was worried more about my actual product, which is the show. But anyway, I admire the hell out of this woman. She is constantly going, and she's a pillar of our community here in Gettysburg. She's the owner of the Dobbin House, in case you didn't know that. Garrick says, or I'm sorry, Six Questions says to Garrick, hopefully I will not see you in a professional capacity. Oh, Mike, your humor about your injuries is, that's what you got to do, man. You've got the right attitude. Valerie says, Culp's so pretty this time. I wish I was there instead of work. Chris says, how many cigarettes? Tell you what, but it helps up to a point, and then it becomes a detriment. So you have to know when to stop. It also helps if you sing the blues. John Bupp, hey John, thanks for coming to the show on Sunday. You got to sit by Bo. Did you talk to Bo at all? I'm sure you've met him before because I think you've been at events where he's been. Barbara says, see, today I'm a little chatty. Other days, not so much. Always the joy of cooking says, Goodfellas is a great friggin' movie, as are the first two Godfather movies. Yeah, yeah. Never really watched too much Sopranos, but I feel like there was a point where we became oversaturated with mob flicks. Oh, absolutely. Like the 70s. Really, I think The Sopranos kind of ended it. It's like, the mob movies have always been around. Like James Cagney was doing those, but still, they kind of seem to die. Like The Sopranos, I think, really kind of killed it because it's like, how do you top that? And I think during the Sopranos time, if I'm not mistaken, you had the movies like Analyze This and Analyze That, and they had to like spoof mob movies. And I think that's kind of when we were like, all right, when the Sopranos is over, we're done. We're done watching your mob movies. And the attempts that have, even Scorsese really can't get another hit with it. What was it, The Irishman? Was that? No, or yeah, it was The Irishman, wasn't it? That was just not good. I did not like that. That de-aging technology. Now, Barbara, you'll probably be disappointed because the trees are not really fully even for spring leafed out. They're still kind of in the budding phase, but there's your copse of trees on the other side of the phallus, and we'll get closer to it, and you'll see maybe a couple more weeks. Maybe a couple more weeks, and it'll be a little more to your liking. But I don't think this is what you were hoping to see. There it is as we drive by it. All righty. So there we are. There's your copse of trees. And we'll head up into town to Gettysburg Baking for breakfast and then head into work. That's what we'll do. Readout says there is the Reliance Mine Saloon. Praise be to their mermaid water. All right. John Bupp was decked out in Baltimore Orioles gear. I was not aware if he knew about your conversation with Ralph about Baltimore pizza. I don't know, John. He says I shook his hand and told him he'll never what? I told him he'll never be good as me, John Wayne. Oh yeah. Okay, gotcha. And no, he was not. Oh well, John, you're going to have to go listen to the episode we put out last week about the first Minnesota, and we talk about Baltimore pizza. Of course, admitting that what's his name, Ralph and I are both New Jersey pizza snobs. So you really, really can't convince us that pizza from anywhere else is good. There might be close seconds, but it's not the same. What you need, and here's the key, and this is why New York and New Jersey pizza is the best. What you need with your dough, when you make your dough, is you need to use polluted water. And that is why our crust is the best. And the crust really makes it. So does the sauce, but the crust, without good crust, sauce doesn't really matter. Love The Sopranos, says Barbara. Just rewatched it recently. I haven't seen The Irishman. Yeah, I think I'm about due to start rewatching The Sopranos. It is so great. It is so great. Always the joy of cooking, says I was in Detroit recently, and the Detroit style pizza is pretty good. I think you mentioned this last time we talked about pizza or something. This sounds familiar, and I must say I've never heard of Detroit pizza until you mentioned it. So there you go. Barbara says, I think they say New York bagels need the polluted water also. Oh yeah, any breads, rolls, anything. You go get a sandwich in New York or New Jersey. The key is polluted water. This is why our cancer rates are so high over there. Looking forward to being in Gettysburg from June 24th to June 29th. Children play in the park. They don't know I'm alone in the dark. In the room. Time and time again, see our face smiling inside. God, it's such a nice day. I've been dying for this weather for months. Now watch, it'll be like 35 degrees and sleeting on the Get Out of the Car tour, which is our next event, by the way, coming up on, what is it, the 25th, I think? April 25th? So, yeah. Same with Philly, the rolls, yeah. That's why I say the Philadelphia to New York, um, what do you call it? I want to say quadrant, but that's not right. It's the Philadelphia to New York, the line there between the two. It's not coming to me. Anyway, the line between the two, that is where you get the best deli food. You get your best. You got your Jewish delis. You got your Italian delis. Your bakeries. You got your pizzerias. Your Italian restaurants. You want to find the good stuff. That's all there. And what's funny is like people who were raised in areas that didn't have that. When they try it, a lot of them are like, "Oh no, the sauce is too tangy," or I like it where I'm from. They had the sweet sauce. Sweet sauce. Sweet sauce. I signaled. I mean, come on. Come on, sweet sauce. All right, you guys, have yourselves a great day. I am going to get some food and head over to the world of addressing Gettysburg and all that jazz. Have a great one. Talk to you later. No, not tri-state. That's not what I was thinking. Because tri-state's New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut. Anyway, talk to you later. Alley. That's what I was saying. The alleyway between. That's what I was looking for. No, I don't think that's the right word. Anyway, who cares? I gotta go. Bye bye.